thank you for joining us for the fourth edition of the Career Toolkit series. Tonight we are talking about everything LinkedIn. So it's a LinkedIn Unlocked, a guide for the emerging professional. So thank you so much for joining us. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and start to your week. To kick off the session, we'll start with an acknowledgement of country. So in the spirit of reconciliation, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the lands on which we gather from today and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. So for those who haven't met me yet, my name's Alana Gretsch. I am the Partner Success Manager here at the Australian Computer Society. My role at ACS is supporting all our students and graduates. So if you do have any questions about your membership, want to understand more about our benefits, have any questions looking for some advice, and if you're looking for a job, you want a demonstration on our career toolkit, our career platform, feel free to reach out to myself. I'm active on LinkedIn, but I also am the one who sends you your pre and post emails. So feel free to reply to me if you have any questions. Now we're going to run through some quick housekeeping. So please note your microphone and camera have been disabled for this presentation. The idea is it is being recorded, and for privacy reasons, we want to make sure your names are hidden. It is being recorded, so in about 3 to 5 weeks' time, you'll get an email from me letting you know that the recording is available to watch back. So keep an eye on your emails if you want to rewatch this content. Now, if you do have any questions throughout the session, and we really encourage you to ask them, please use the Q&A function in your top toolbar there to ask any questions. We will be answering them towards the end of the presentation, so sit tight and we will get to them. If you're unable to access the Q&A function, feel free to use the chat function there as well. But we do ask just to avoid distractions. If we can keep the chat to a minimum, that would be wonderful. If you do have any questions that weren't answered during the presentation tonight, or if you're having any issues with your teams, feel free to email us at acsstudent@acs.org.au. If you are having any issues, please include some screenshots with your problems and I can see how I can fix them. Now, please note a post-event email will be circulated after the event, and Leanne has kindly said that she'll also share a copy of her slides, which is very generous. We will also submit your CPD points after the event, so please ensure that you do attend the whole session tonight. It is approximately 1 hour, so to receive that CPD point, you are required to attend the whole session. If you drop off, that's completely fine. You can watch back the recording and get the CPD points at that time. Now, I would like to introduce our lovely speaker tonight, Leanne Mason. She's a human resource specialist and has kindly put together a wonderful presentation to help us tonight. So over to you, Leanne, and thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Alana, and thanks to ACS for hosting this webinar. I really appreciate the opportunity to present LinkedIn Unlocked for emerging ICT professional members, and I want to thank you all for joining. Now I'm going to try and share my screen. Forgive me, I will have to just turn my camera off while I share my slides. Okay, so next, here we go. What is LinkedIn? I do hope you've all heard of LinkedIn. If not, please take the time to explore the platform and sign up for a free membership after this webinar. If you've registered for a LinkedIn account already, you can follow along at home and update your profile as we go. Today, we will show you how to develop your visual profile, that is how you're represented on the platform. We will focus on using relevant skills and keywords in your profile. We'll also show you how to develop and share your resume, and we'll cover best practice in applying for LinkedIn jobs. First off, your profile photo. Whilst you don't need to wear a suit, we do recommend wearing neat and tidy professional attire in your photo. Also, it may sound strange, but pick a photo that looks like you. If your profile image is from 20 years ago, when someone meets you in real life and you look nothing like your picture, that might affect your authenticity. So if you've recently started wearing glasses or dyed your hair a different colour, it might be worthwhile updating your profile. Now let's look at some options for your profile photo. You can choose a plain background. So this is an example with a white or a grey wall to remove distractions. You can blur the background. I'm sure most of you know that some smartphones now have a portrait mode in the camera function, which can achieve this effect. When you upload your photo to LinkedIn, it will be in a circle format. So keep that in mind when you frame your picture. Leave plenty of space around your head, or you might lose your shoulders when you upload it into that circle format. Finally, it may be obvious, but make sure you take a photo in a well-lit area just so that we can see your face. One last tip, I recommend you ask someone else to take the photo for you. Having someone else behind the camera will more likely make your image look more engaging. If you take a selfie, it might appear a little forced, or you may look a bit confused trying to work out that technology. I know that's happened to me before, so. Okay, now here, building your visual profile, we've got a typical looking LinkedIn profile. So you've already added your profile photo. Now you can add your background photo or image. So this can be a graphic, and it can include text such as your personal website. So here Joe Tech has added their personal website in their background graphic. You can use free tools like Canva to personalize this graphic. Next, we have your name and perhaps previous names. Think about all your connections or previous employers who can find you. And this is also an opportunity to put some post-nominals in. Alana, did you want to tell our audience about the ACS post-nominals?
Yeah, so when you do become an ACS member, you start off as an associate member. So your post-nominals are AACS, which you can put at the end of your name and title. So that can be quite handy for your LinkedIn, your signature on your email address, or it might be a bit old school, but business cards. At ACS, we are offering a complimentary, at additional no cost, upgrade to a full member of ACS, which then is MACS. So we'll pop some details in the post-event email, but the idea is you can apply to get them the post-nominals upgrade, and it's fitted well for our professional members. So in the post-event email, I'll pop in some more details on how you can apply for that max uplift.
Thanks so much, Alana. That's great. So next is our headline. In this example, Joe Tech, who's our example profile, has put that they're a passionate information technologist, innovating with IT solutions and dedicated to driving digital transformation. So there's a bit of alliteration there. So this is an opportunity for you to start using some keywords and feature skills that reflect you. What you write here is also important because these words are searchable by recruiters. So just start crafting your headline, your personal headline. Next is the About section. You might need to manually add this section. So to do this, under your name and headline, you click on the Add Profile section. Then you go to Add About. So this section's an opportunity to utilise more keywords and display your skills. Recruiters use software to scrape data from LinkedIn. So if your profile contains relevant keywords, there's a higher chance they'll reach out to you with a job opportunity that matches what they're looking for. So let's look at an About example. So as a recent graduate, I'm eager to develop my skills and experience across various areas of the ICT industry, including testing, developer, systems administration, and desktop support. My ultimate goal is to establish a career as a systems architect, where I can help organisations and clients achieve their business objectives. In my current role in IT support, I have the opportunity to deliver exceptional customer service, utilising my strong problem-solving skills and engaging with stakeholders. So this is an opportunity for you to look at the jobs that you're after and start padding your LinkedIn profile with those keywords that are actually relevant. Next, experience. So this is really basically not just your job. It could be volunteering, it could be an internship, it could include special projects or committee positions. Rather than a dot point list of what your daily tasks are, you could include examples of accomplishments or achievements for more impact. So here we've got an example of an experience. This is Joe Tech's experience. Successfully drove a digital transformation project streamlining business processes and utilising a ServiceNow ticketing platform. So to me, that tells me a lot more than just a dot point of these are my day-to-day tasks. If you've had a career change and you're looking for IT roles, it might also be more relevant only to include your IT experiences here, or limit mention to your previous career as a dog walker so as not to confuse your recruiters. Also, when you apply for a job, sometimes recruiters will look at your LinkedIn profile to verify your experience, to verify your profile, your resume. So try not to embellish your experiences here. Next, education, which you'd think is self-explanatory and it's quite straightforward, but I would say be careful because LinkedIn might pre-populate these fields. So when you start typing, it could give you a different university from a different country or the wrong degree. So if you're not paying attention, it might come up with the incorrect information. If what your university doesn't come up, just override this. Don't forget to add any accomplishments during your studies or activities and societies you were involved with. So here you can add skills and use this as an opportunity to add more valuable keywords. I think the most common interview responses I've heard from graduates are examples of when they worked on a group assignment. This is full of star content. So group projects involve teamwork, conflict resolution, working to a deadline. Don't forget, if you've participated in any societies you're involved with, you might have helped set up stalls, which is event management, or supervising others. So it's a really good opportunity to think, well, okay, what did I do when I was at school or at university, and add that to your profile. The skills section. So the skills section, you can add up to 50 skills, which is quite generous, but try not to go overboard. I recommend that you add a mix of technical and soft skills, and here's some examples. So technical would be programming, analytics, data science. A soft skill is what all of us should have: communication, problem solving, and an example could also be something like project management. LinkedIn also has a fabulous AI feature which helps you add skills. It suggests things that you might not have already thought of, which is great. Does the work for you. But again, be careful what you're adding to your profile. Next, we're up to licenses and certification. So you can add corporate training or other work-related education. But in order to do this, you've got to click on your Add Profile section. Then under the recommended, so you first, when you're saying add about you, you would do that under core. In this instance, you would go to the recommended drop-down list, and then you would add licenses and certifications. And these will show up on your main profile as an additional section. So here, Joe Tech has added ITIL Foundation level certification. How do I get more skills? So here, Alana's going to talk to you now about ACS Skillsoft platform and how to add an ACS badge.
Wonderful. I'm going to quickly share my screen. Now, if you have attended a few of the prior Career Toolkit webinar series, you may have heard me talk about our online Skillsoft platform. So if you are on your ACS, if you go to the ACS website, I've cheated here. I've already logged in, but once you log into the member dashboard and select it up here, we're going to have a look at the platform, see what kind of courses exist, and then see how you can transfer that badge to LinkedIn. So we've had a bit of a rebrand of our member page, so it's a lot easier to navigate. So definitely have a look at some of these top parts here to really understand your benefits. But you click this one here, grow your skill set. So it's called Skillsoft. So that will then populate the Skillsoft platform. Now, I always kind of giggle sharing my screen because you can see here I'm very much behind on a course that I was doing. So um, this is a big project management course, which is a really great one and definitely recommend if you're wanting to build that skill set up completing. So if you have a look at the library, there's a great range of technical courses, or as Leanne was saying, the soft skill courses, career-based ones. There's some great ones on mentoring, teamwork, and more. So let's have a look. I believe it's Career Insights. So let's see what populates. No, that was the wrong one. But it is worth having a look on here, and a really great way to kind of build up your skill sets. Let's see what's in the masterclass series. Wonderful. So you'll see there's plenty of online content here, cybersecurity in practice. You've got build and deploy a full stack web app. So plenty of opportunities here. Now, when you do complete one that populates a course, what it can do then is populate a badge that you can feature on your LinkedIn. And this is a really great way to showcase to anyone looking at your profile that you're continuously focusing on your professional development. So, as Lena was kind of saying, LinkedIn almost becomes like an online resume. I myself am recruiting for a role right now, and the first thing I do is check their LinkedIn, just out of curiosity to see that it kind of matches what they put on their resume. So, if we check out my profile, so as Lena was saying, you can see the kind of top part there. I've included my education, my work type, my background, my photo. Scrolling down, you can see my about, which tells you a little bit about myself. And as Lena was saying, kind of touching on the kind of really key words that align with my role. My role is not necessarily tech focused, so I have a little bit different wording, but you kind of try and keep it really punchy and straight to the point there. Now, scrolling down, when we come into licenses and certifications, so I recently completed, or it was last year, it's not so recent, essential career conversation skills. So if I was to click into it, it could then show you what I've completed. So you can see the little badge there, Australian Computer Society, which has been verified, and it tells you a little bit about this course as well. So if someone was wanting to match and understand my skill set, they could then have a look and go, oh, okay, great, she's done this study above her and beyond her degree or diploma. Now, when we do go back a page, you'll kind of notice that it didn't populate the badge. So we're going to add that in right now. Oop, I may have gone too far. So what I'm going to do is select edit, and you can see it there again, and I'm going to select edit again. So in here, it tells you a little bit about what the course was, the issuing organization, which would be the Australian Computer Society, the date in which I completed, the credentials of the badge, and a few more further details. So what I'm going to do is copy this credential URL here. I'm going to add media, and then I'm going to add a link. So I'm just going to copy and paste this link here. And let's see if it populates my badge. So you'll see the thumbnail now populated, and you can see the title there as well. If you want to add that description a little bit more about the course, maybe your learnings from it, you can kind of add it in the description there as well. So I'm going to apply, and let's see if it'll save. Perfect. Now, if I was to pop back on my LinkedIn page, you'll now see the badges there with a little bit more detail. as we were saying, this is a really great way to really show you that you're going above and beyond with your professional development because it is really quite important. What employers are looking for is someone who goes above and beyond their current studies. So these short courses, some of them are really short, some of them can take, as you saw my overdue list, some of them can take a couple of months, but it's just a really great way to kind of stand out from the pack as well. Now, I believe, Leanna, while I'm here, you want me to go through the groups as well?
Yeah, that'd be great. So if you could show people how to join a group, and then we'll talk about connections.
Wonderful. So, another really great function with LinkedIn is groups. So, if you're someone who's into cybersecurity and you want to find other professionals who are into this space, if you're after like a niche group of some kind, this platform is really great with bringing people together. So, if you click into the group function on your left-hand side, these are groups that I'm currently running, which we'll talk about later on. But you'll see some other groups I've joined out of interest. So, Cybersecurity Champions of Tomorrow. If you joined our first webinar in, I think it was late January, early February, we were joined by Gabriella, who's part of this group. And it was a really great one if you're into cybersecurity to really look for kind of mentors and see what they're posting about. Other great groups I follow are Women in Technology, which is a wonderful group bringing members together. You've got the AI Hub, which is another really great organization bringing people together. We've got our large ACS kind of overall group. And then if you're one of our ACS student or graduate or emerging professional members, you can actually access our LinkedIn groups. So these are community groups that are just for students and graduates to come together, hear about some great job opportunities, meet other students and graduates, hear about some of our benefits. But it's also an opportunity to kind of ask questions, get to know other people. If you're attending one of our events and you've never met anyone before, you could put a shout out and say, hey, I'm new. I'm going to this event. I'm looking for a buddy. It's a great way to kind of bring people together. So as you can see, we've got some really great tips from Rob, who's one of our emerging professionals from New South Wales, and branch executive members. We've got some great upcoming events that are in our network, job opportunities and more. So I'll pop the links to our LinkedIn groups in the chat shortly, as well as in the post-event email. But that's just an example of some of the really great groups that are out there. Just another way to kind of broaden your network and find people that are interested in the same kind of things you are. But yeah, back over to you, Leanne.
Thanks so much, Alana. Okay, let's share again. Okay, so another way to make connections is to log in regularly. Make sure you search for anyone you know from your address book or old colleagues who have moved on. You can use the search bar at the top of the page. If you click on my network icon at the top of the page, and LinkedIn will suggest people you may know as well. It's actually very big on suggestions. Like every time you log in, it'll be suggesting this and suggesting. So it looks at what activity you've undertaken and it'll actually make suggestions based on that. Again, a bit of AI at play. But basically, the more you interact, the better your suggestions will be. So use LinkedIn regularly to keep up to date. Like it's you just showed the audience how you can share some content. You could even write an article if you've got subject matter expertise in something and share that. You can share other people's posts, you can like other people's posts, comment on it, congratulate people on work anniversaries. Once you're really embedded, you will see the value and you'll see how beneficial it is to become part of that network. Hopefully see it as a tool that you can use weekly, fortnightly. Once you've developed your LinkedIn profile, now you need to be able to be found. Hopefully we've got some tips to help you share your profile and be found by recruiters. Firstly, you've got to let people know that you are open to work. So we do that by clicking on the Open To button underneath your name and your headline. Now, if you don't want your current employer knowing that you're searching for a job, you can choose the recruiters only option. That way, only recruiters will see that you're open to work in their talent searches, and they're more likely to message you directly. You also need to ensure you choose the right visibility. So if you choose all LinkedIn members, it'll add a frame on your profile saying open to work. So you can explore that. Now, next, still how to be found on LinkedIn. So if you click on the pen icon, it will take you to the public profile settings. Then it opens up more settings. Here you can ensure that your profile is set to public so that you're more visible. You can also customize what people see, like edit the content to see what sections are appearing and what don't. Next, you can customize your URL. So you can see that here, Joe Tech has got a really interesting URL, really hard to remember. So if you go in here and you edit these, you can choose something more memorable, or you can just take the numbers off and just have your name. Once you've edited a unique URL, don't forget to add it to your resume. So you can actually pop that at the top of your resume, create a link for someone to be able to find you. Now, talking about resumes, let's go in and add a PDF version of your profile. So this is also found underneath your name and your headline. You click on the resources button, click on save to PDF, and then it'll create a resume. It just generates based on a standard template. Don't get too excited. This is the only template they have available. You can't customize it. You can't make it look sort of any different. You can't change any colors. All you can do is change the content. So make sure, but you know, once you download it, you can share it with prospective employers. So if you're in a hurry, you can like, oh, I'll just go into LinkedIn, create a resume and send it off. So I think that's a really cool feature. Now, jobs, it's the most important thing. Once you've got your profile and your resume fully developed, you can apply for jobs. So we're going to start with the don'ts. Don't just respond with a standard, I'm interested response. But on the other hand, we don't want you to do a really long involved response either. We want you to create a response that's personalised to the role. So our do's are personalise your response, address the hiring manager directly if you know their name, tailor the message, detail how your skills can benefit their organisation, read the job post carefully and mirror the keywords in the role if appropriate. And of course, thank them for their time, provide your name, best contact details. Some jobs will have an easy apply option. Not all of them, but some employers have opted for these. So LinkedIn will typically pre-fill your application with information from your profile. So again, make sure your profile is ready. This feature is also easier for employers because they can capture details directly into their applicant tracking system. I believe that's a paid option for an employer. Still on jobs. What kind of job are you looking for? Let's see how it can work. So you can create an alert, and I'll quickly switch to Joe Tech's profile. And let's have a look. So this is Joe Tech's profile. Up the top, you've got jobs. So we're going to click on that. And we're going to type in up the top what the job title is. So here, Joe's looking for system architect. So we click on that. And then it'll actually generate responses based on system architect in Australia. So you could change that to New South Wales, and it will again modify your responses. Once you're happy with that, you can actually set an alert. So if you click here, put the alert on, then down the bottom, click on Manage Alerts. It's going to take us in and it's going to ask us to manage our alerts. I'm going to click on this System Architect and I'm going to ask for weekly notifications. and I just want a notification or I want an email sent to me. And the other cool feature is that they will actually notify you of similar jobs. Once you're happy with it, you just save it and sit back and it just emails you all those wonderful jobs. Hopefully, like you'll have to modify it and you can create different job searches for different roles. So I think that's a cool feature. We'll come back to my slides. No, I won't. Yes, I will. Here we go. And okay, I've just shown you how to look for job title, job location. You can look for keywords, but also you can use LinkedIn's AI again to suggest job titles based on your skills and keywords. There is emerging trends where job titles are changing. For example, I used to be a recruiter, but now I'm a talent sourcer or I'm a HR specialist. There's just so many, and IT, as we all know, is very varied. So it's a good opportunity to use LinkedIn's AI tool because it's populating data from other people's searches. So, you know, if you're putting things in, other people can be like, oh, this is the job title I'm looking for, and you'll benefit from that using the AI tool. Now, next, still applying for jobs on LinkedIn. I thought I would give you an example job role and a response. So here we've got an example job for a service desk engineer. You've got to contact Sally. And it's told us how to be successful in this role. So what I want you to do is when you're looking at job roles is to try and ascertain the must-haves, identify what the must-haves. This list is what they've decided that they will have and will most likely not be willing to consider you if you don't already possess these skills or capabilities. Then there's the preferred or desirable, and that means that the hiring manager is willing to support or develop the right candidate in the role even if they don't have the right skills. So read the job ads carefully because you never know. Like it might not be like, oh, I don't have all of those skills, but if you've got some of them, I would highly recommend you give it a go. So what I've done here is put a suggested response. So first we've got Dear Sally. So we've addressed the hiring manager. Then in my previous role as an IT support specialist, I resolved complex technical issues. I provided exceptional technical support utilising Microsoft 365 and providing desktop support in an IT service desk environment, working with an IT ticketing system. I have certification in ITIL 4, version 4, enhancing my understanding of service delivery processes, and have recently been developing my knowledge in Azure AD. Thank you for again, you've got to thank them. Thank you for considering my resume, and please don't hesitate to contact me on put your best phone and email if you'd like to discuss my suitability for this role further. Now you may have noticed that I don't have Azure, but I have been developing my knowledge in Azure. So don't hesitate to let them know that you're investing in your professional development and that you're keen to learn new skills. Even if it's not part of your job, you're out there learning new skills. You can talk about what you've learned on the ACS Skillsoft platform or what you've been learning on LinkedIn Learning. Don't hesitate to mention that when you're applying for your role. And yeah, basically we've only just scratched the surface of this platform. So please keep exploring. Add more sections that are relevant to you. In this example, if you speak other languages, under the additional profile options, you can add languages. And so, yeah, if you go in and explore, you can see all of the different sections that you can add to your profile. And I think that's it for me. Thank you. Alana, do you have any questions from our participants?
Yeah, wonderful. Before we finish that one though, when you were talking about the additional um things, I would just flag that add volunteer experience. For those involved in uni club activities or you're part of an emerging professional committee or you're a part of any other AWSN and things like that, that volunteer experience is exactly where you'd put them. I've seen a few people putting those volunteer roles in the work experience part, and then it gets flooded because it says you've got 4 or 5 work experiences that are all present, and it looks like you're a very busy person. But it then when you start to move on, it kind of just clogs it all up. So I would really recommend utilizing that add volunteer experience because that's a brilliant spot to have. Um,
It's evolving every day. LinkedIn is a software company and they're taking on board suggestions from their users. So they're constantly evolving and they're constantly updating their platform. So it's really good to just go back and keep checking and see what's available and how you can tailor it for your own profile.
100%. Now we've had some great questions come through. If you do have a question, feel free to pop it in the Q&A box. We've got plenty of times for questions, which is wonderful. So do you have much knowledge in this one, Leanne? Does LinkedIn Premium affect the profile visibility to recruiters?
I would say no. LinkedIn wants you to, of course, buy the premium option. What it does, it allows you to see who's been looking at your profile, and it gives you a better sense of who you need to connect with, who's been having a little sticky beak at your profile. Like I personally have never ever paid for premium. I don't think you need to, especially if you're an emerging professional. Some people use it. I think it's more for recruiters and employers who will actually pay for the premium. Like I've seen it from both sides. I've seen it from the employer's point of view, where we've paid for a premium function so that it will actually make suggestions on candidates. We don't even have to advertise. It'll actually send us suggestions of candidates who have matching skills for what we're looking for. But yeah, I could be wrong, but yeah, I've never had to pay for it, and I don't think you get a lot more benefit from it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Now we've had a couple of people ask, can we get a copy of the slideshow? So we will be
Yes.
including it in the post-event email because there's so much great information in those slides. So thank you so much,
It's very
Leanne.
data heavy. So yeah, apologies. I didn't want it to be death by PowerPoint. But yeah, there's just so much information to share. So
No, that's wonderful. And there's another question about getting a link to the recording. So yes, we will be circulating the recording in a few weeks' time once we've edited it and everything too. We've had a really great question. So, given the competitive saturation of LinkedIn profiles, what strategic measures can we employ to differentiate our professional identity to demonstrate unique value and establish authoritative visibility? It's a very well put together question.
it is. I think it is. It's definitely personal. How you portray yourself online, we all have to be very careful. And I would just put what's authentic, like what it is that is authentic, so that, as I said during my presentation, that people will double check, like people will cross check your resume against your LinkedIn profile. So try not to embellish. But also keep that in mind when you're sharing content and when you're interacting with other people, it's like any other social media platform. You just need to be really careful and think, well, how is this good? How am I going to be perceived? LinkedIn's a fabulous professional networking tool. So it's kind of like a virtual version of being at a networking event. You're all milling around, having cocktails and meeting people and handing out business cards. So just think of it as a virtual version of that. I'm not sure if I answered the question, but it was a comprehensive question. So,
Yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying, and I think yeah, one, be careful, of course, what you put on LinkedIn. I've seen some people get quite political and share their political views on what's happening overseas and things like that, and you just got to be conscious that those other connections and even the ones you may have forgot about can see that. So you do want to ensure you're all more than welcome to have political views, but make sure you keep it professional. Because yeah, I know on my profile it populates other people's comments and things, and it can be a little eye-opening sometimes. Um, but when you're talking about how to differentiate yourself and your professional identity, Leanne covered it quite a bit, and I really agree with it, is posting about, what you're doing that's relevant to the career you want. So, Leanne gave some great examples. Like if you're still studying, share a great project that you're working on. Talk about the learnings from that project. What are the outcomes? Because you might not necessarily have experience at this point, but it's those assignments and stuff are forms of experience. So it can be a great way to kind of help you stand out. As well as if you're attending events, take a photo at that event and share that as well. Tag the people that you went to that event with or who you met. It all just shows how much you're out and about in the industry, and building up those connections.
well, and demonstrating your passion for professional development can translate for an employer. So if you share, oh, I did this course or I've done this certification, I think that shows an employer that you're willing to learn. And even if you don't actually have those skills right now, you're more than willing to get out there and teach yourself or undertake additional learning.
Definitely. Now, we've had a question come through. Is the LinkedIn profile enough to land a job as a student?
Well, it's only really as good as, say, a resume would be. Like it's a job tool. Like it's a tool to be able to show your skills and capabilities. If you reach out to a prospective employer and say, oh, look, I can see you've been hiring cybersecurity experts. I'm really interested. I'm really passionate in that field. Please have a look at my profile. Make sure your profile is actually, populated with cybersecurity relevant content. It's a bit like meeting someone at an event just to say, oh, my name is, this is what my passion is. Like, I'm a big supporter of networking. I think it's just such a valuable tool. People would rather eat glass than go to a networking event. I'm not one of them. And I think LinkedIn's a really good virtual opportunity to do that networking that people hate to do, if that makes sense. But it is, you need to curate it. You need to curate the content to make sure that you are putting your best self forward and you're attracting the right employers. Getting a job is just like having a relationship, meeting someone perfect for you. It's be able to have that perfect match with an employer. And I think LinkedIn's a great way to do that.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think don't rely on just LinkedIn to get you a job. It's another tool. So Anano, who I know quite well and is a superstar, she's commented that she's been offered jobs from some big names because of her LinkedIn profile. And she's definitely someone who promotes all the things she's involved in and really puts herself out there and showcases the great things she's doing. So I could 100% understand why she gets job offers, but don't rely on it your one and only thing that's going to work kind of thing. It's another tool to build on your networking, build on your professional development, build on your resume, to really kind of set you up for the best opportunity kind of thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Now we've got somebody asked how much does it cost each certification at ACS? So the courses that I kind of showed then, a lot of them are complimentary within your membership. If you do want to become a certified member at ACS, where it populates a badge for your signature, and you're known as a certified member, a certified professional, that one does come at an extra cost. I'll include some information in the post-event email about certification, because it's something really great to look into, probably as you're approaching graduation, or if you're already in the industry. Your skill set and experience does get assessed. And to ensure that you are at certification level. So I'll pop some details in the post-event email about certification as well. Now, someone's asked, please give us some tips on how to apply for an internship. Now, they have said in Canberra that's very kind of niche, but yeah, please give us some tips when it comes to applying for an internship.
So it depends on the employer and whether they are whether they have internships available. Like, even just approaching a prospective employer, it doesn't have to be an internship. It could be just a work experience arrangement. Like, you could just reach out politely and tell them that you're really interested. You think their organisation or their department aligns with your values or with your skills that you're hoping to develop. And just ask them, like, it doesn't hurt. Ask them for an opportunity. They may have something available. They may have a program coming up. You can look at, I think the APSC have graduate opportunities, but they also have like digital traineeship programs. They have, they have a range of entry programs available. So have a look at the APSC if you're interested in working for the government. But private enterprise, it's up to them whether they advertise internships or work experience. It's got different names, but they're similar thing. And legally, they do have to pay you. So there's no such thing as a free lunch. So work labour laws do specify you need to pay a person, even if it's a work experience arrangement. So just keep that in mind.
Definitely. And Leanna kind of demonstrated earlier, I would definitely on LinkedIn turn on those notifications for some keywords being internship, narrow it down to Canberra and pick what types of, using those keywords, what type of internships you're interested in and see what pops up.
Good idea.
Now, we've had a really good question. So, I recently moved to Australia from Sri Lanka about 7 months ago. Although I do have over 10 years of experience in my field, I'm finding it challenging to secure my first job role here, specifically in a regional area, especially without any local Australian work experience or professional references. What are some effective strategies or tips for newcomers to the land like myself?
I think, again, like offering to do work experience might actually be an answer there, because then you can gain some experience to put on your resume. Reaching out, like if you're in a regional area, reaching out to local employers and just talking to them and just saying, look, this is my expertise. I'm looking to gain some experience to add to my career. But yeah, It's a hard one, isn't it? It's a chicken and egg really situation, isn't it? You need to get a job to get experience, but you need experience to get a job. So I think, again, using LinkedIn as a great networking tool, but door knocking and reaching out directly to employers who might be seeking the skills that you already have, that you possess.
Definitely. And regional areas are an interesting one. I myself have lived in like Wagga Wagga, Townsville, Toowoomba, a great range of regional areas in Australia. And the networking is different. They're very more based on community. Everyone knows each other. So it can be quite daunting when you do move there and not know anyone. I think utilizing that group function on LinkedIn and see if there's any groups, like you would have seen Townsville had an AI group that's got a really great network. At ACS in particularly in Queensland, we've got some chapters in our regional areas. But I do agree with Leanna, like research kind of workplaces in that regional area. And I think they're the kind of ones you can just reach out to and say, hey, I'm new. Is there any job opportunities? Because a lot of those regions are screaming for tech people. So, it's just approaching it a little bit differently.
There's a labor shortage, and it's a great to capitalize on that. But you need
Yeah,
to convince that employer that you're willing to give it a go and that you have some skills and you want an opportunity to demonstrate what you can bring to that organization and what skills you have.
definitely. Now, we've had some great ones coming through. So, do you have any hints for improving your elevator pitch for networking events? Now, we did actually do a How to Network Your Way to Success webinar last week, which we'll also circulate the recording for. But, Leanna, do you have any tips on improving your elevator pitch and maybe what to include when you first introduce yourself to someone?
I think it's about just finding common ground. Like, again, do your research. Look at like who you are trying to connect with, looking at what their interests are. And if you both have the same interests, that's a great way to start. Like, hi, I'm a HR professional and this is a program I'm running and see if other people have similar interests and passions to you. It's about it's about selling yourself really, and again, people don't like that. It's similar to it's like a live job interview. Like I've done a lot of scribing as part of my experience, so I've seen a lot of job interviews. I've seen a lot of people present, and I've seen a lot of graduates, and I'm always really impressed with graduates and how they can find examples, even though they haven't got a lot of work experience under their belt, but how they can find examples. And we talked about the university experience, like having group assignments, and we've all done that. We've all been there. So you can even use experiences like that to try and find common ground with somebody. But yeah, that's a
Definitely.
hard one. It's very personalized, isn't it? It's about doing your research, getting to know the person that you're connecting with, and trying to find what it is that you both have in common.
Definitely. And you touched on something there that kind of sparks something. When we talk about our job experience, and say you are currently studying at TAFE Uni College and you don't have a tech job background, if you've worked at places like McDonald's, Woolworths, I'm a Baker's Delight gal of 10 years. So those kind of jobs, pop them on your LinkedIn because they really demonstrate your ability for communication skills, like the team assignment there, problem solving, dealing with different stakeholders.
Yeah, customer service is a big one. You'll find that in IT now that they want good communicators. They want people to sort of take on a governance role rather than just a purely technical role. Like if you're in a help desk, customer service is just so important, isn't it? To be able to engage with your stakeholders and to be able to distill the information or try and at least find out what it is that's wrong with their computer. Like if you want to help them, you need to get them to articulate to you properly. So in order to do that, it's about engaging with really good customer service skills. So yeah, that's exactly it. If you've got retail experience, pop it on.
100%. Now we've got a few quick ones. I'm going to zip you through these ones pretty quick, but after having skills and updating LinkedIn as well, it is hard to get a job for international students in Darwin, and especially part-time roles as we're allowed. Um, do you have any advice? Now, I will put it out there. It's a weird market at the moment for job roles. It's tough. So my heart goes out to you. I know in Darwin, it can be tricky as well. Lauren Hall, our wonderful branch manager up in Darwin, actually is hosting this great series with Dante. He was one of our speakers from late last year. I definitely keep an eye out on the website for the, she's just announced the next edition. Those events are really good with building up your career readiness skills. Check out as well the LinkedIn groups, which I'll pop out the links for. I try and post some job opportunities in there, but I do sympathize. It is a hard market at the moment. It is really tricky. So with this series, we're trying to provide extra skills like LinkedIn, and how to network to really put yourself out there. The next edition will be how to find a mentor. We're really trying to build up and ensure you're got all the kind of ticks across the board. So yeah, keep going. It's gonna happen. It is hard though, and I know it's frustrating. We've had another one go where to find the webinar recording. So yeah, I'll pop an email through in the next few weeks once it's edited, and I'll post the previous ones as well. Now I might go the lucky last question here, and then we've got some wrap up closing remarks. But are there any specific types of businesses or companies that actively seek to hire graduates or students, even if they have limited experience?
The government, as I said, the APSC, they have some graduate opportunity. Each department usually have their own graduate program. So if you go to a department that you're interested in and search their website for graduate, there'll be some information about the graduate opportunities. But I think that, yeah, the government's like the biggest employer of graduates. Like there's some big firms like PwC. Oh, no, I shouldn't say that. There's some big firms out there who do have graduate programs as well. I think the bigger the better, really. The bigger organisation, the more chance that they'll have an embedded graduate program that you can sign up for or you can apply for.
Yeah, definitely. Check out, we've got our own career platform that hosts a great range of opportunities as
Of
well.
course,
So
yeah.
check out our website. If you're, again, part of the LinkedIn groups, I just did a post about where to find the career platform, but I'll pop it in the post event email as well. Definitely the big companies have some great programs. There's a lot of competition for them. I challenge people to think outside the box. I used to work at a law firm and they had some really great job opportunities as a service desk roles, which you only need to do a year or two in. I know they're not the best, but they're really great way to start. So yeah, think outside the box. Australia Post had a tech grad program going. Telstra's currently got theirs open at the moment. So yeah, think outside the box, apply for the big ones, but also have a look what else is out there for some different opportunities as well. Wonderful. So we might kick on to the closing remarks. Firstly, thank you so much, Leanne, for your amazing presentation, your insights, your advice. We really appreciate all your help tonight and guidance.
Thanks very
Thank
much for
you.
having me, Alana, and thanks to everyone who joined us, and I hope you all get something out of it.
Thank you so much. Now, before everyone heads off, we're going to run through a few quick ACS relevant benefits here. So, as we mentioned, we've got our LinkedIn group. So, I've posted those links in the chat. I'll post them in the post event email. But a really great way. We're really trying to build up these groups and really want to support you and create a new communication channel. So, really encourage you to join those ones. We've got some really great events coming up. So this is a great opportunity to practice your networking, utilize LinkedIn to follow up with them and engage with them. So on our member dashboard there, you'll see it in that top toolbar at the top there. So really worth having a look. Now we've got some great ones coming up. So I'm actually currently in Tasmania because we have our upcoming Education, Careers and Technology Summit, EdCat, and the theme is Welcome to Techtopia. So yeah, we've already got, I think, over 330 registrations. So if you do want to come along, if you're based in Tassie, get to this one quick. We've got a dedicated stream just for careers that I've put together. Where we'll cover topics like how to market yourself beyond a resume. We'll hear from really great emerging professionals who will share their journey and more. So if you're Tassie based, a really great one. If you're based in WA, there's a half-day summit taking place on the 20th of May. Another really great opportunity to network. We've got a really great range of professionals that come along to these, and they do really want to support you. They might not necessarily be able to offer you a job, but they'll offer you some advice and guidance. So recommend going along to that one. And if you're based in Queensland, we've got the Big Tech Summit coming up, redefine digital horizons. So this is a full day conference, really great opportunity to be in a room full of really high leaders and professionals. I'll also be there, so welcome to come say hello, but some really great big tech conferences coming up. Now, if you're not currently an ACS member, we've got our obviously different membership tiers. If you're currently studying, I noticed we've got some King's Institute students online. You can actually, if you're currently studying at one of our kind of partnership organizations, you can access the complimentary student membership. Otherwise, we've got some really great graduate tiers and our professional members as well. If you have questions about membership, just of course, let me know. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook. We're about to kick off our Instagram again. And we've got a very big profile on LinkedIn. So feel free to follow us to hear the latest. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your feedback. So if you have capacity, we'd love for you to fill out the feedback form there. Thank you, Leanna, again for your time, and apologize for my internet cutting out. But yeah, thank you so much for attending, and we'll see you at the next one. Have a good night.